Now this is buffer time. Respect.
What is buffer time? Is what buffer time?
Hello, buffer timers, and welcome back. We're doing a pretty good episode of Trek. I think most people will agree. The 30th anniversary of Trek homage to the original TOS episode, The Trouble with Tribbles, and we're doing a Trials and Tribble-Ations today. But before we get into Gannon's topic, we're going to go around clockwise and introduce ourselves. I'm Dustin from Best of Trek.
My name's Gannon. I'm from a channel by the same name.
I'm Josh from Windgrace Project.
I'm Scott from Opinions No One Cares About. I'm actually 1,771,561 Tribbles in a trench coat.
I'm Ren from Ren Rants. Hello.
I'll let Robbie go first.
I'm Robbie Sherman of Conversations with Robbie Sherman.
Hi, I'm Dell, and I'm a Tribble advocate.
So it got me thinking today, where this is like the 30th anniversary episode, or one of a pair. There's another one in Voyager, which maybe we'll talk about next year during the 60th anniversary, which, I mean, just in general, it got me thinking today that we're coming up on the 60th anniversary. It's been almost double the amount of time that Star Trek's been alive as when this episode came out. Just some fun food for thought. But before we even touch on that, let's touch on the little tiny bit of like news and preview we got this week for anybody that saw it. We got this new poster that is very off-putting to a lot of the fan base. Personally, I don't care.
I think it's cute.
And we also got a 4-minute clip, which I thought was standard, fine, not great, not terrible.
I was gonna say Killy. That doesn't work, but you know who I mean.
Supposedly she's only going to be in a couple episodes.
I mean, isn't she the reason the whole thing exists?
One would think, because that's why I was initially excited about it, but I like teen dramas, so I'm still excited about it.
Do you think we'll see Parisi Square?
Oh, that would be interesting.
I still don't know how we've gone this long without seeing Parisi Squares.
Well, we did. It's just on a show we can't watch anymore.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about Prodigy.
Unless Scout showed it.
Probably not yet.
Oh, are we supposed to talk about it? Yeah, it was. I don't know. The trailer was just generic Star Trek-y kind of stuff, I guess. Nothing.
Paul Giamatti seems to be fun playing a baddie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit more lighthearted than like the last couple, and have like a little bit more breath to it. I think one of the reasons I think some of the newer Trek has been off-putting is because there's not as much camp as there used to be. And so I'm hoping when you work with teenagers, you can kind of naturally work some more camp into it. I'm also worried about Trek 90210.
I'm excited about that, honestly, if that's what it ends up being. I mean, I like teen dramas. I think they're fun. I think, Star Trek or Starfleet Academy is not something we've gotten to see like a ton of throughout the series. I am a little sad we're not going to see like the San Francisco version that we kind of like were so familiar with in the 90s, but I'm still excited to just see a little more of that dynamic. I think it also introduces like really different stakes in terms of like, they're so young, and so like they're really kind of having to be like protected with kid gloves and stuff, and they're seeing everything for the first time and exploring all this new stuff, and everything's new to them. And I think that just like is a great jumping off point for a Star Trek show. So I think it could be really, really fun. Yeah. Oh, and the immature like nonsense in the relationships would make so much more sense because they're babies. As opposed to like when it's between adult crewmen and you're like, why don't you grown-ass like 40-year-olds just talk to each other?
For one of the characters, literally.
It's wearing thin in Strange New Worlds.
But with that, does anybody else have anything to say about Starfleet Academy? I have nothing nice to say about it, so I'm just going to not say anything at all.
I'm really curious because I mean I think of you, Gannon, as being sort of the youngest of the bunch, and so I'm curious why you're not looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is like aimed at your demographic.
And like most attempts for them to appeal to my demographic, it's going to fail. It's not going to generate enough for their investment. It just doesn't really look like a part of Star Trek that most people are asking for. I'm sorry, it really doesn't. And again, Tilly's only going to be in 2 episodes at most, they said, in the first season, which is just kind of nutty to me.
I agree with most of that, but like we're talking about Prodigy, and like Norman's like, yes, Prodigy should be everywhere. It should be streamed. It should be free on fucking Pluto.
I couldn't
It's
get
fair.
through
Yes.
Prodigy. I couldn't finish the first season.
Really? Because I was just about to say that like Prodigy was the show that nobody was asking for, that I didn't
I'm not
know
saying
I
it's
needed in
bad.
my adult life. It's
I'm
to me, it's
sorry.
the best new Trek show.
It is.
I know
It
it's
is pretty
kids,
good.
and
It's just
it's
I
so
think
good.
that it was really geared towards like a really really young audience, to the point where I just kind of find that the episodes disinteresting. Like I actually find episodes of Paw Patrol a little bit more entertaining sometimes than Prodigy. Like
I'd say
When
skip to
Pop-
season 2 then, because season 2 really gets into it.
when
It's so good.
Paw
Yeah.
Patrol comes on at work, I actually kind of like it rubs my brain a little bit and I get locked in. Anybody have anything else to say about Academy before we talk about Trials and Tribble-Ations?
Yeah, let me just turn this thing over to you, sir.
All right, cool.
I will say that, Starfleet Academy was the show that, I was hoping for, but I do agree with you, Gannon. I don't really want to see it turn into Star Trek Riverdale.
Yeah, I don't think Academy should look like this, just from the way it looks. I just don't think that it should look like this. It's just kind of a extension of Discovery, like 100%.
I don't want to wait for Starfleet to be
There's
over.
no.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, we're going to be talking about Trials and Tribble-Ations today. Dustin has graciously allowed us to pick an episode that we favor and talk about it on the stream. And this is, I would say it's easily a top 5 for me. I think some of the most fun you'll ever have with Star Trek is when you watch it through the first time. You're having all these characters and scenes introduced to you organically. And when I watched this for the first time, I went bananas. I mean, it's my 2 favorite characters by far, Captain Kirk and Ben Sisko, having interactions with each other, some of the best scenes in the entire series. I really was so impressed at the time that they made this. I was seriously impressed by how they actually managed to make them feel like they were really there in the episode. It's such a fun one. It is an all-time great to me, and it's got Tribbles in it. Everybody loves Tribbles. They're a little bit underutilized, in all honesty. Tribbles don't really appear as much as you'd think they would throughout the entire series. So with that, we're going to go and start and get into questions. And the first question we have on our list here is, because in the episode, obviously, they travel back in time accidentally to the TOS era. If you could travel at any point in the Trek timeline to meet any character, you'd only get to hang out with them like a day or two, just like in the cartoon. Who would you meet?
Book. I'd want to hang out with Book and Grudge on his ship.
His ship is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
That's sick.
It can do anything.
Like, do you want to meet him before Michael? Like after that, during?
So it was, even though we had Troy, it was the first time I felt like we had someone with a sixth sense that was portrayed with grace and was treated seriously. And so I would want to mostly just sit down and talk about like life on his planet and what his race is like, and also pet Grudge. I'm not really a cat person, but Grudge has my heart.
When else are you going to get to pet a queen?
I know. Well, I get to pet a queen quite often, but only when they say yes.
Yes.
If it were me, I think I'd either do 2 things. I'd do exactly what Sisko did, and I would take the opportunity to meet the Kirk.
Or
Other
you
than
could
that,
go back to this episode and meet them both.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I just have to make sure I'm on that extra layer of time, however it works. But other than that, maybe I would go and visit Barkley because he would really know how to abuse the shit out of that hollow room. You know what I mean? Like he can give you some tips.
You'd just already be in the holodeck pretending you're a program.
Yeah, just he would have
Maybe I
some
want to
tips
meet
for sure.
Trip Tucker.
Okay.
Bring him a nice catfish.
And tell him don't show up to that control room on that one day. The day before the
Don't do it.
inauguration, don't show up.
Don't do it, Trip. Don't do it.
I
That
think
never happened. It was just a
I'd
holodeck
take
program.
mine in a little different direction. I'd probably pick like either the time the Enterprise D was docked at DS9 or Voyager was docked at DS9 and just kind of wander around and experience it and see who I can run into.
Harry Quark is swindling you.
I think I'd want to hang out with Harry and Tom and do one of their little hollow novel adventures because it just seems like they have such wholesome fun together.
Are
All
you a
great
Delaney
answers.
sister?
Man, I mean, when the idea of crossovers came up, I actually first thought of those old scientists because I would love to be able to meet lower deckers and the Enterprise crew at once. But all things considered, I think I'd rather go back and hang out with Data. I mean, you said it in a previous stream, I tend to identify with him the most, and I think I would probably be about as fascinated with him as Bashir was when he met him.
Plus, he'd be fascinated with you too.
This is true.
All right, Robbie, did you have one?
I mean, this episode kind of satisfies a lot of things, but I would like to just kind of hang out with a young O'Brien, kind of see what he was like a little bit early on. See the party animal he might have been at one time. That would
Play
be
in the jello.
fascinating.
I feel like before Setlick 3.
That is also an amazing answer. So I think Scott really was leading well into our next question, which is what is the best crossover in Star Trek? It can be something really, really small. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be as big as those old scientists. Yeah.
Those are scientists, yeah.
Those old scientists.
It's hard to compete with that. But if we exclude those old scientists, honestly, I
Then
think it's
maybe
this
it's a fair
episode.
fight.
Yeah, I'm struggling to even think of a third one, so I think this is kind of a bad question that I came up with.
I mean, maybe
I
the
might
Lord.
might go with Trelane, both being the old episode and the episode from Strange New Worlds. It's not necessarily a crossover, really, but like to hang with Trelane and see him in both time periods would be very interesting to me.
I don't know if this counts, but the Prodigy episode where the planet has been infected to act like the TOS crew, or like influence, excuse me. That one
the
is
Enterpriseians.
Yeah, it's like kind of a callback.
I knew one of us did.
You have Garavik there, or at least logs from Garavik.
And so
Oh, wait, there was that one episode of Enterprise, the Mir episode, where they actually got the ship from the main. That was really good as well.
That was a cool use of it, yeah.
All right, so next question. I like this question. If you could, knowing the risks, would you own a Tribble? Knowing that if it gets into anything, in all honesty, even if it doesn't eat, do they still just multiply because they're born pregnant? Is it the moment they eat, they just multiply beyond control?
Don't feed them after midnight and don't get them wet.
They said in this episode, I think was it Worf who said if you give them even the tiniest bit. So I guess if you gave it like just less than a tiny morsel, you'd be okay.
I feel like at that point, Tribble ownership's like unethical because you have to starve it to keep it in like ownable condition.
That's what I'm thinking.
It kind of reminds me of teacup pigs, which, by the way, y'all do not exist. Teacup pigs are just potbelly pigs that people starve so that they don't grow at all. And if you feed them normally, they grow to the size of a potbelly pig. So like
adorable.
On paper, I would love to own a Tribble because they are so cute and fluffy. But like with the lore the show sets up for them, I think I'd feel bad about it.
You'd have to have a farm set up like you're a breeder. You know what I mean?
It's for the same reasons with the talk recently about like raccoons maybe domesticating themselves, but really it's like people misunderstanding the study that it's based off of. But you shouldn't have a Tribble for the same kinds of reasons.
One
even though
thing
they're cute
that's
as
kind of
hell.
interesting to note is that, I think maybe the last time we saw Tribbles in live action, besides the short track, was that Lorca had a pet one on his desk. So I wonder how Lorca was able to keep that Tribble in check. He was just starting the damn
Yeah, he
thing.
neutered it.
Or
Neutered it.
Prodigy.
I think that was
Well, Prodigy wasn't live action, but he said live action.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yes, in live action, yes.
Alrighty. With
doesn't
the next
that
question,
episode like technically predate the short trek?
that's what I was
Or
saying. I
no?
said besides
Yeah.
short
And that
track
just
too, I
goes-
covered my tracks. I swear.
Except
Yeah.
Phlox and Enterprise was still dealing with the multiplying tribbles, so that doesn't really work out either.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't the short track kind of like, there was some canon mistake they made in that, but I can't remember it, so it's probably not important.
It depends on how you.
Benjamin, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Rosa Salazar is the captain, who I want to see come back in Real Trek.
Yes.
Yeah.
The beleaguered way she calls him an
Yeah,
idiot at
Captain
the
Silo.
end always makes me cackle.
Yeah.
He was an idiot.
Edward was an idiot.
This next one is a similar question to the first one, but I feel like it has more answers to it. If you could serve on any starship in the entire franchise for an extended period of time, like let's say a year mission, which one are you picking? For me, strangely, I'm picking the Cerritos. Just because it's kind of a lighthearted cartoon. If you meet your demise in it, it's probably going to be quick. But if you're in a live action Star Trek, you're probably going to be traumatized like Miles O'Brien and forced to live in a mind prison. for 20
Falling
years.
through the floor, getting like.
Yeah, because every single season is just 1 year. So if you're going to be on a ship for an entire year, I'm definitely not picking Voyager. No chance in hell.
The way you said strangely, I thought you were going to say the Protostar. Like,
I
I don't
was
like Prodigy,
thinking-
but I'd serve on the Protostar.
I was thinking Protostar, somewhere between either, I don't know the letters, but the NX-01 or the Protostar. Those would be my two choices.
Yeah, an XO1 would be fun as hell.
Yeah.
You do some real exploring.
And you
Find
could,
space
you could fuck up and they wouldn't care because everyone's still trying to figure shit out.
You're pretty much writing the regulations as you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I think I would probably still pick the Enterprise D, but like it's a gamble on like which year you end up with, because you could end up with a relatively chill year where like there's no mass casualty events and you're probably fine as long as you appear in a couple episodes. But I don't know, you could also get like really unlucky and
Face to the floor and die.
fall through the floor and die.
Meet your mom that then doesn't exist.
I don't know.
Alrighty. So next one, we're gonna rate on a scale of 1 to 10. How well did Deep Space Nine do in immersing their cast into this existing episode from the 60s? Me, I think I already made a comment earlier about how I was really thoroughly impressed. I was thoroughly impressed, especially that one scene where Captain Kirk is reprimanding them and they're all lined up in a line, and they had to like paste in O'Brien and Julian, and it just, I mean, it looks so good. It looks like I'm watching the episode.
Yes, but even today.
Yeah, I mean, they did. Whoa. No.
I guess I think I saw Forrest Gump first, and so I've seen the effect before this, because I didn't watch DS9 when it was airing. I watched it later. But I do think they did a pretty good job, but I also think they might have been A, wanting to shill some new Tribble dolls, and B, kind of filling some plot holes from TOS.
Yeah, I think they did a great
really
job.
Pulled the look up.
I mean, they got the right film grain. I bet they went to like an older film stock to do this.
Yep.
They lined stuff up really well. And the color grading. Even in the stuff that's completely reshot and it's not them composited in like it is here. Which actually, I want to use this as an example of something I saw in the 4 minutes that they put out for Academy. There were some really badly composited shots where they had like dots flying around on a stairway with some people that were also clearly green screen just to walk on a stairway, and it didn't look right. The perspectives were a little off. The matting was not right. Meanwhile, you've got this where they got it seamless 30 years ago.
Yeah, when they were
Yeah,
like
it's
still kind of coming up with this technology. It's not even like it had been around. It's like the third or fourth time something big tried to do it.
And for them pulling it off on a TV budget the way they had is like, it makes it even more impressive, honestly.
No, it looks really phenomenal. There are so many like little facets to how they integrated it that just work perfectly, and all of the like additional stuff that they add in, I like their use of the old sets and the old costumes and all of the little things just really sell it. It's so good.
Even the new people they cast like to be part of the original, like the waitress and the jackets they made for what's her name for Worf and Odo were actually Cyrano Jones jacket, but just different fabric. Like just the point of putting in all the extra effort is like great.
Josh, I wanted to make a comment about the waitress too, because that is such a TOS design.
It
like,
is.
There was a waitress in the original episode, but they didn't like copy it bar for bar. They like kind of made a slightly original dress, and it looks so good.
Yeah, I got a point of contention about that picture in particular. Bashir and O'Brien meet that woman, and then Bashir is obsessing over her because she has the same name as his great grandmother. And he's like immediately on board, like, I have to go become my own great grandfather. Like, dude, slow your roll.
Very Back to the Future. I gotta fuck my mom if I want to exist.
I wonder if this gave the Futurama writers the idea for Roswell That Ends Well, which is the episode where Fry becomes his own grandfather.
Well, that
the
saves the
Oedipus
universe.
complex is strong with this one.
Bashir's like, it's gonna happen.
So you're saying
Bashir's just a weird little guy. Like every opportunity he gets to be a weird little guy to women, he is.
He's the first character in Star Trek that actually legitimately made me cringe. Like for the first season and a half I remember watching, I actually needed a little bit of convincing because his dialogue is just so strange. Like he's clearly like almost neurodivergent to a degree. Like he would say things that are just kind of insensitive and without any censorship.
Yeah, he definitely didn't come into his own for a while.
Didn't know any better.
Yeah, he grows on you eventually, but at first you're just like, who let this guy be a doctor?
Yeah, at first he grows on you like a fungus.
Yeah.
Alrighty, how do we feel about the explanation provided in the Enterprise episode, which is like kind of building off, the joke that's in this episode about how the Klingons like look different in Worf's like, yeah, they're Klingons. We don't talk about it. How do you feel about the explanation provided in Enterprise?
Are you talking about the genetics when they bring Phlox in? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Whole two-parter, they were to justify a makeup decision.
Yeah.
Did we need the episode, or would we be better off without it?
I don't know. At the same time, like, it would be weird not to acknowledge it, since it is all supposed to be flowing through canon and people do rewatch TOS like fairly regularly. So it's not something you can quite ignore. Like, it's not like it's a reboot or something where you can be like, this is just our new version of what this looks like. We're like, okay, here's this established alien race that was basically just guys with weird eyebrows. And now we're like, hey, they have this elaborate forehead thing going on. So like, I think it's fine that they came up with an explanation. People were clearly asking about it, so they felt like pressured to say something.
I wonder why Worf, because they were all kind of trying to play it low key. Why didn't he have Bashir like give him a smooth forehead?
Yeah,
like because you could still see ridges underneath
it's very
that little
Chewbacca
like
in a drag.
wearing. Like and because I mean you don't have to tell him. You could just go in and be like, "Can you just smooth like another inch up for me?"
Put a
maybe give
bandage
him a
on
female too.
Well, I mean, to be
Oh.
fair, for one, it's not a fully fledged sick bay. They said that right from the first episode of Defiant. He
Yeah.
doesn't have all of the auto dock features that he might otherwise have on a,
But you
on a
see,
space station.
Dax getting rid of her spots.
True.
Yeah.
Although
I
she
could be
could
done
have
with
just
some
covered him in
concealer.
makeup, right? Or
Yeah, I mean
concealer.
that's
No, she used, like,
that's
a
a lot
little
easier.
laser
You can't concealer out the forehead ridges.
For me personally, I've
It's a
you know,
goiter.
thought that the joke of this episode is they actually like do make the TOS and everything that appears in it like canon. Like they kind of shoot themselves in the foot by explaining like, oh yeah, something happened with the Klingons. We don't talk about it. There was like an incident, and that created an explanation, like a demand for it. And I like the Enterprise episode, and yeah, no, I've always thought it was kind of a fun explanation.
I'm fine with the Enterprise episode, and I'm honestly fine with the redesign and Discovery, but they could have saved themselves so much money rather than spending millions on new makeup for the Klingons and just got a whole bunch of bushy eyebrows and called it a day. They already had the explanation from Enterprise, and they did not follow through.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, this has happened before. Well, it's happened more recently when, all the Klingons were bald looking in Discovery, and then they slowly backtracked. And by season 3, like they had explained that they cut off their hair in times of war, and then the Klingons started looking way more traditional come season 3.
Mhm.
So, the Klingon, it's looked very different over the years. That's all I'm trying to say. Anybody else want to answer this question?
I think they're both fine. Like I liked it when it was just the joke, because I thought that worked well enough, especially in an episode where you have to see the original series Klingons. So there was no way to really get around it without making mention of it. So I like the fact that they did it as a joke here, but didn't spend the time to explain it. And then Enterprise, by the time it got to that season, was literally just doing nothing but cleaning up canon and connecting the things. So it was a good episode, but I feel like ultimately we didn't necessarily need it to really be a 2-part episode.
I personally am not worried about it. I have rarely given Enterprise much time in my life. But at the same time, I like the idea of just a meta joke where people recognize there is a huge glaring flaw in the visual iconography of the franchise they live in, and they tell you to ignore it. It just feels like very knowing and like cartoony in a way you can do when you're in the middle of all this.
And to be fair, we did all mostly ignore it up to this point, really.
Yeah. I think it was funny and convenient that Darwin was undercover. I'm putting this in quoting marks. Undercover as a human, when the Klingons looked exactly the same. Like he just had to get like some bushy eyebrows and be like, "Yes, I'm a human." And
I like how one simple scan figured it out. McCoy's just like, he's a Klingon.
All right, so we got some temporal questions now that have to do with the repercussions of going back in time. So at the ending scene, Cisco does talk to Captain Kirk, and it's obviously, they repurposed an older scene from a different episode that wasn't even in Tribbles, I believe. And do you think that Cisco essentially replaced that lieutenant? Like the lieutenant was supposed to be there, he's thus replacing him? And then also the second question asked basically the same thing. Did Julian and O'Brien replace those people in the line while Captain Kirk was reprimanding them?
I think yes, at least for the 2 people in the line. I'm sure they're still on the ship, but he didn't leap into their bodies and take over them. But the part they played in this incident.
Yes, they're in the waiting room, Josh.
Oh, okay.
They're in the blue light room
with Dr. Ruth and just having a time.
Yes.
But yeah, so their lives are changed. Whether or not it's significant, I don't know. But they were not part of the brawl, or if they were,
they didn't get yelled at by Daddy
presumably
Kirk.
for the better.
Mm-hmm.
I would really love it if they had some sort of button when the engineering guy was like, there was some guy trying to fix the thing, but he didn't know what he was talking about.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Like, yeah, like some just have a line about like we don't know who this guy is.
Alrighty,
Random
cool.
ensign.
This next question is a good one. Is there another classic Trek episode that would have worked if you'd like to see the Deep Space Nine cast dropped into the episode? For me, I think easily with Kira and like all the stuff going on with the Cardassia War, that the Deep Space Nine cast would kill it in a piece of the action. They would kill it in that episode. That would be so fun. That would be a great one.
I think I just want to see the Avery Brooks directed version of oh God, I just lost the name of it. The one with the half black, half white people.
Oh,
Let that be your last battlefield.
This will be our last battlefield.
Yes. I want to see Avery Brooks direct that. I don't even care about how the cast interacts. I just want to see it like how he completely turns it into a much better narrative than like it's such a cool moral idea, but it was executed on a terrible level.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I think about it all the time, though. It's terrible.
I don't know. Figure out a way to work some DS9 crew into like every series. Why not?
Anybody else?
Some of them.
I can't remember
Maybe-
the name of the episode, but the one where Cisco is Benny, the sci-fi writer.
Far Beyond the Stars.
Yeah, I would love to see the TOS cast somehow end up in that episode, like
Interesting.
in some way.
Ooh, okay.
Because they did a lot of like flashback to different eras of Earth time. And so I think it would fit in with the theme of TOS and time travel. But I'd like to see like him try to be in, maybe even influence the story he writes, or or the robot story that O'Brien is writing.
Oh, well, then you need Data to go back too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Another good one I was thinking is probably that two-parter with Voyager where they're being enslaved in like the hollow deck.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
And-
Killing.
Or not
Oh,
holodeck. Do you mean workforce?
Killing Game.
Oh,
No,
the
like
Hirogen.
the Hirogen like
Hirogen.
enslaved them in the holodeck and hunted them down in simulations.
Yeah, the Killing
Oh,
Game.
The Killing Game, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Nice.
Anyone else? Alrighty. So the next question is, does this work as a standalone episode without any prior Trek knowledge? Do you think you could still enjoy this a lot if you don't know anything about the TOS?
I think so.
I mean, I think it would be kind of a fun little story, but you wouldn't understand like the significance of any of it. Like you wouldn't really get why Jadzia and Cisco are both like kind of geeking out over Kirk, but like trying to like resist the urge to talk to him or interact with any of them. You wouldn't really have the context for like how Jadzia was alive during this time. You'd be just missing a ton of the like special sauce that really makes this all work, I think. So I think it would be like an enjoyable watch, but if I was like introducing someone brand new to Trek and I had like picked a selection of episodes to show them, I probably wouldn't put this one on the list, at least not until they had seen at least, a couple seasons of DS9 and at least a few episodes of TOS.
No, even just between this and the Voyager episode, which was the other 30-year flashback, which gave you a little piece of thing from Star Trek 6, but rediscovered it. That does a better job of, you could just watch that loop and that cycle that happens with Sulu and not know anything about Star Trek and be able to follow the story start to finish. This one is way better for the nostalgia factor for, Trekkies. And it's pretty good if you've watched any amount of Star Trek, even if you probably haven't seen like everything. You'd get some good enjoyment out of this. But yeah, I don't think you'd get as much as if you knew what was happening in the background.
I'd probably just show them the trouble with Tribbles, if I'm being honest.
Yes,
if I was
I
showing
agree.
someone who's new to Trek and wanted them to experience that.
I mean,
I
there's
think
things. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say,
You see this? Here it is again, but different.
I think Kirk is enough in pop culture consciousness. I think Tribble's a little less so, but I think if someone would at least understand, like, oh, these are the old cast from, you know, the 60s or whatever. And there's some people who've seen some of the movies who haven't seen the shows. And I think they don't know the DS9 cast, so they wouldn't get sort of their interactions, but they would get the whole I'm a voyeur on the old Enterprise.
That's an angle I hadn't thought. If you were a TOS fan who had never watched DS9 and this is your first introduction to that, I wonder what that would have made you think.
I also think this would appeal to something like a Back to the Future fan, you know, if you wanted to try to ease them into Trek on some level. You know, this is a high concept episode that still couches in character work and humor. So, you know, if you have someone who's interested in that type of like time travel narrative in its own way, it's almost like it's a very sitcom-y kind of thing too. So I think that helps couch in as a separated narrative.
It's crazy they got the same guy to play Darwin both times. Like that's such a good little connection.
DS9 did the most for bringing back original series people to reprise their roles, I think, of any Star Trek. They had all the original Klingons back.
The stuff they did with the original Klingons was chef's kiss.
And not that it was the original person, but the guy that played the like Undersecretary of Agriculture in that TOS original Tribbles episode, he came back as a Bajoran musician. In DS9, I can't remember what episode, but like
when they brought back the guy, the hippie dude for the general in the Roswell episode.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And who was it? And his second in command, like his lieutenant hippie. Previous to that was the Nazi in Patterns of Force.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but yeah, the other thing I wanted to add to this is like they didn't just do the bare minimum as far as like just bringing the casts together. Well, they didn't really re-bring in the TOS cast, but integrating them. But they even had inside jokes that I didn't catch at the time. Like that whole bit about them thinking the other guy was Kirk the whole time. That was Shatner's stunt double. So
that's cool. I didn't know that.
That's cool.
So, like it was an inside joke about people like that's the person that's Kirk whenever he's fighting and getting punched in the face.
Amazing.
So it technically was Kirk.
Yeah.
All along.
I think they did a good job. I think I rewatched it today and I don't remember for sure, but I think they managed to cut out the Trelane's actors Klingon entirely. I think that he was like cut from the bar fight scene. They didn't want to show him for some reason. Maybe that footage didn't really meld with what they had going on.
Maybe just because because he just reprised his role later in DS9 and already on screen by the time this episode aired.
And they brought back the other one. I can't remember which one it is in Undiscovered Country. They had him in the bits with Sulu come back. Was that Kang? Yeah.
Yes.
And him in flashback.
They did.
For in his actual like bumpy headed makeup.
I'm going to combine two questions into one. I'm pretty sure this is the first time they actually reference a Time Authority organization and they actually show us agents from there. So what was your first impression of that watching this episode for the first time? And why did the Time Police guys hate time jokes and puns?
I'm sure they hear
I
them
would
every
want
day.
to work
Probably because they hear it all the time.
the temporal force.
All the time?
I think that would be the coolest job.
For real. They seemed so beleaguered though, which was quite funny. I love the way they talked about Kirk. They're like, "Oh my god, the man's a menace."
And I'm just like, you ain't met Janeway yet.
Yeah.
No, Janeway messes up the
Daniels.
relativity.
Just you wait.
The other Time Police.
They don't call it the Janeway Protocol for nothing. These guys remind me of the IRS though. They are so boring nerds.
They're probably bogged down in
accounting
paperwork.
nerds.
the troopers
These are the
go to
guys that come
timeline.
back as the ghost of Marley to warn you, like in the
Oh my
Star Trek
God.
version of A Christmas Carol.
Well, that was kind of like what they were on in Voyager when they had 7 of 9 go looking for the bomb, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah, and fucking
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they were
Rogue
doing.
Braxton.
Braxton 2.0 because he'd already showed up in Future's End.
Yeah. Norman, it couldn't be an X-Files joke. There was no smoking man.
No, their names were
I know.
anagrams.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dulmer and Luxley, they're Mulder and Scully, just mixed around.
Alrighty,
Okay.
so we got a small handful of questions left. One that I just want to quickly add, because I thought of a good answer for this, is do you guys have a favorite scene from the episode that you would like to share? For me, it is, I actually just realized this today. This is probably my 4th or 5th time watching the episode, but it is highly implied that Dr. McCoy banged the Dax symbiote. And I just think that's hilarious. That's a
Hands of a surgeon. It's my favorite line in the whole episode. He had the hands
My
of
previous
a
host was a
surgeon.
gymnast.
What about, and women wore less?
Yeah. I just
Man.
wondered, I just wondered that they didn't rely on Dax for more information about the time. Like, you'd think before they left, she would give a briefing on, like, this is what it was like back then because she was alive during that time. But yeah, I mean, anytime when she wanted to see Koloff,
Yes.
that like her sort of her
Yeah.
eagerness about being in this time and referencing Curzon and also the gymnast whose name I can't remember.
Emily.
Yeah, like the idea of reminding us that she is, because they don't do that very often on DS9 where they remind us that she's like 800 years old, you know. And so I think it was kind of fun for her to get to play that a little bit.
Yeah, that was really cool. I liked
Mhm.
that. I also I loved the little bit with Bashir and O'Brien not being able to work the old-timey turbo lift with the hand cranks. That was just so funny.
And the little Cisco like hitting his badge and then nothing happening.
Yes,
Yeah.
like
Right.
embroidery, dude.
That leads me. I really liked. I mean, I like Lower Decks in all of their like hero worship of all of the Trek characters of yore. But I kind of like how this episode is like, yes, the original Enterprise is famous. Everybody knows Kirk and Spock, but they're not like, they don't know every intricate detail about these people's lives. They're like, who's that guy? Oh, that's what Spock looks like. They're like, they know, but they're not like uber fans about it for the most part. And Bashir's just like, I don't know anything about history. What's Starfleet?
I just want to bone my grandma.
No, Bashir is freaky as fuck. Like,
Oh my god.
Bashir is such a problem.
and we know for a fact, because like we know for a fact that this isn't a paradox loop because he wouldn't exist. Like he was never meant to, you know, have relations with that woman. And just
C
looking at
leads
the
to A leads to B again, and
As
you
far as we
don't
know.
know that.
I loved the line, I can't wait for you to go back to DS9 and find out that I never existed.
Yes.
Both
He was
because
so
of
dramatic
Ryan
about it,
getting
too.
annoyed by him at that point, and also the idea that he would go back and still remember the Bashir. Yeah, anyway.
But then we
I mean,
get
why
a
even
sweet
share?
Derek time travel episode to bring him back.
Yeah.
Why even share that, Bashir? Why even complicate things? Like you see a beautiful woman, you're like, hey, I think this is my grandma, dude. I think I should, like, I think I should go sleep with her.
There's a 98% chance we're gonna do this.
Sometimes
so, I mean,
you gotta do the nasty and the pasty.
Well, you know, you gotta suck your mom. Go back in
Bashir
time.
is everything people like used to imply that Riker is, honestly.
Oh well,
yeah.
they hold the dick handles to tell the computer what deck to go to.
Yeah.
I'd like Dick 6, please.
Oh my god.
I did like the rehash from the original episode where that Klingon's trying to provoke Scotty, and he's just like, calm down, there's no need to start a fight, until he insults the Enterprise, and he's like, nope, we're fucking throwing down.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
I like
Yeah.
that Scotty
You can call
was
my
the one
captain
that
whatever
was
you want,
like-
but you don't touch my shit.
I like that Scotty was the one like, we're not getting into a fight. Like, Scotty's the one that would be up there giving fists.
Mhm.
He's gonna throw hands.
Yeah.
I just like the sort of like jokey camaraderie our DS9 cast had together in this. Like the little ribbing of Odo, like, oh, the Ractigino, the only a clue you could put together.
Oh, I see that you're just hanging out at the bar, pal.
That's what I mean about like modern Trek
Mm,
doesn't
fiction.
take the time to do these kind of episodes. Like they give us a breather. They let us like we still are in the plot of what's happening, but it allows us again with the camp and sort of a little bit of humor. This is what I miss in a lot of current Trek. Now I'm not like a modern Trek hater by any means. I love Discovery, which I now call Whisper Trek because I can never hear it.
Okay.
But I do wish, like I always reference Data's Day. Like I just want a couple of episodes where we find out like what Tilly does in her free time, or Tig Navarro. Like I'm getting her name wrong, but you know who I mean.
Reno?
Like just working in engineering, figuring things out, or following Phlox around for a day and taking care of all of his animals or whatever. Like something that has a little bit more camp to it.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, you get Data's Day, which is a great episode, but when you do stuff like that, you also get like a night in sick bay.
Well,
I don't mind it so much. Oh,
sometimes you gotta dream about getting with
Dustin
Paul
with the
several
images.
times.
I don't want to be known as the dancing doctor.
Well, you are.
You
you
know
fuck
that-
one ghost.
Do you know that she did
Jeez.
some of the choreography for Labyrinth? The actor, she did choreography for Labyrinth, the dance with the fire puppet.
Yeah, she did.
in his head. Yeah, she did the choreography for that.
That's awesome.
Oh, Shakar.
Oh, I mean, Ronan.
Dustin with the pictures.
Well, when I don't have to host, I can actually like focus on the pictures.
There you go.
Alrighty, so we got a couple more questions. I don't think we'll be going on for too much longer here. What we got? So, is this a better episode than the original? And for me, that's extremely, extremely difficult question because it's like comparing one of the most iconic Star Trek episodes to, a celebratory episode that's trying to build on it. And just because of my personal bias, and you guys know how much I love Sisko and Kirk, I do have to say I prefer this one by just a little bit.
I think it brings the current one 30 years ago. I'm so old, but I think
Brand new episode.
the one from DS9 brings a little bit more levity to the situation, and it the nostalgia kind of warms your heart a little bit. And yes, I love the friggin' ending with Quark and all the Tribbles.
Yeah, Dodo.
I like the original better. While this one does have more, or like it does have some humor, it's actually more serious than the original. When you watch the original cast just go about every scene, like just the actors seem more happy and jubilant doing this episode than any other episode of TOS. They just kind of nail it. They nail their comedic beats and timing. I find this to be the best episode of TOS, and this is fine and a fun 30th anniversary thing, but the TOS episode, and I am not a TOS guy, the TOS episode wins out.
Dustin, that
It is
reminds
pretty
me,
iconic. Oh, sorry,
real
go
quick, Dustin, that reminds me, like, I forgot how fucking funny Captain Kirk is when he's dealing with that, the operator of the station. He's like, Kirk,
Yeah.
this security is unacceptable. You're doing a terrible job. He's like, how about I ram my foot up your ass? Right?
Yeah.
Like, hold on,
Pretty
pal.
much.
He really did not like that guy. He wasn't trying to deal with him at all. But yeah, go ahead, Red.
I do like the original episode just a smidge more because it is so iconic and kind of unforgettable, and it's one of those ones that like I at least watched that one when I was pretty little with my best friend, and she liked TOS more than my dad did, ironically, so I watched more TOS with her than I did with anyone else. So that one just has like such a special place in my heart. But this one is still just like a really fun, like celebration of that episode, and I think it does a great job. And it's perfect for exactly what it is. But I think in terms of like between the two, I mean, The Trouble with Tribbles is an episode of Star Trek I would show someone who I'm just introducing to Star Trek, right? Because that one you don't really need any other context. Everything you need is within the episode. You can pretty quickly like figure out the dynamics and everything that's going on. You don't need any additional backstory. It's just kind of a perfect little introduction to the kind of shenanigans the Enterprise gets into.
That's a good thought, Norman. I wonder what happened to the Tribbles. Like, did they just become an infestation on the station like the Voles? But no, the Voles probably ate the Tribbles. That's how you keep your Tribble population down.
Well, you
If
can't
you
beam
eat
them
a
onto a
triple
Klingon
hole,
ship.
will it just keep you full for the rest of your life? Because they're born pregnant, right? As long as they can reproduce within your stomach, you'd be full for the rest of your. Sorry, I'm hanging out with Edward too much.
Wait, I got a question. Is that kind of wrong? Because if Scotty got rid of the Tribbles by beaming, there's no way you put them all on the pad. Doesn't that make it like a site-to-site transport?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or did they have some poor sucker ensigns like showing up to the transporter room with like wheelbarrows full of Tribbles?
Just like shoveling them on the pad.
Well, it was no Tribble at all, so I mean, you don't need to think about it.
Anybody else want to give a go?
Very cool.
That's cool, Jim.
I think I prefer this episode just for all of the celebratory, like, fun nature of it. But I do think Trouble with Tribbles is probably the better episode overall as a standalone thing. Plus, you get more with the original crew. You really only get a couple scenes with the original crew here. So if you want to spend time with the original cast, that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, it just made me want to watch. Sorry, I was going to say, it just made me want to watch the original episode. So I think that's sort of the hinge it'll always have as for how good it is. You know, it's an episode that is like critiquing an older episode and having fun with that in a postmodern way. And it can only hold up so much as the old episode holds up.
What's up, Scott? Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was saying I might give this one the slight edge because, you have the DS9 crew from a show that is takes itself way more seriously than TOS, but they brought more fun into it. It's a really loving homage, and you kind of expect them to be on task all the time, but they're taking time out to get in fights and crack jokes and talk about possibly banging legacy characters. It's just a little bit more fun.
Excellent. All right. So we have one final question. Del already kind of answered it. Is Quark in the Tribbles at the end a bit much? And why do we never see the Tribbles again? What is an explanation can you guys think of besides the Voles that they got rid of these guys?
See, I don't know that Quark wouldn't try to sell them. Like, you've got a never-ending supply anyway. So, and I had a whole moment when I was watching the episode about owning animals. I own an animal, but whatever. It's something they have pets on Star Trek, I guess, but the idea being sort of like a never-ending supply. I also think he might go to offering them as a side dish, especially if there were Klingons on the station.
I bet they're like a petite bird, like a quail or something.
Yeah.
Didn't they make in the Edward short trek a comment about how like they're kind of delectable in the middle, like a sea urchin or something?
Like a scallop.
A scallop, which doesn't sound too bad.
Well, they have the Klingon restaurant on the promenade. Maybe he's just serving them up.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that Tribbles like stay chill on their home planet is because they probably have some type of natural predator that keeps the population at bay.
Didn't we see one in the
I was going to say, maybe they found a grommet.
Yeah.
Or a moopsie or whatever it's called.
A moopsie, yeah.
No, I don't think they have
Maybe
bones. My
he's
my
serving
Moopsie hasn't eaten my
Tribbles
Tribbles, though.
Has your Moopsie eaten you anytime lately?
No, not lately. Thank
Bone
goodness.
loss?
Scott's just down a femur, nothing big.
No funny
Like an
bone.
inch shorter.
All right. Anybody else want to answer that question before we go to our final rating of the episode? Cool. So I'll start off. We're going to do a 0 out of 10 rating. And for me, this is a 9.5. Like, if I can't really think of a perfect 10, it'd be really hard. There's probably only like 3 episodes in all Trek that could be a perfect 10. But this has always been one of the most fun for me. It is one of my favorite episodes of all time. Will always be in my top 5.
All right. I'm guessing I'm going to actually go with the lowest, and I'm still going to give it an okay grade. I'm going to give it a 7.5 because it's so much fun. It does do a thing for the 30th anniversary, but the original was better by like quite a bit. I've got the original right on the cusp of my top 25 Trek episodes of all time. And that's hard to beat. This is only like, maybe number 2 or 300 out of 900 for me. So a 7.5. Good, Josh.
See, this one's difficult, I suppose. If I'm trying to judge it as just another episode of Star Trek, it's really hard to do because it's not. It's specifically made to be a celebration within the series. I guess one point of kudos towards it is back in the day, probably early 2000s. I'm not sure when it would have been. This is one of like 2 episodes I found a way to download on the internet so that I could just watch it whenever I wanted to, because it was just such a special thing. It was just, shows generally weren't doing that sort of thing. I mean, shows weren't generally still sticking around 30 years later to be able to do such a thing, unless you're like Young and the Restless or something. And then you're just doing another Victor episode or something. But I think this is definitely like, as a self-contained thing, I don't know what I would have done to this episode to add to it. Like, they didn't go too over the top by making it like a joke so much that it was just like laughing and pointing at it. They were doing it lovingly. They were taking their time to recreate sets they didn't really have to do just so that they could integrate things better. They were upping technology that barely existed to do it. And they had a story they wanted to tell. I suppose the only thing I would have liked better is maybe if they could have integrated some of the rest of the characters a little more, maybe utilize Kira outside of just being the one on the Defiant the whole time. I don't know what they could have done with Quark besides putting a Tribble on his head, but something like that. But I still think it's, just a 9.5. I could watch it 7 times a day and probably not get bored.
Scott?
I think I'm going to... Oh.
Yeah, I can give it to Robbie.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Okay. I think I'm going to give it an 8.5. Cutting about a 1.5 off, I don't think is unfair when you consider that it's attached to one of the greatest Star Trek episodes ever. But I think it earns its 30-year anniversary status as a fun and knowing tribute to that episode, and it integrates everybody incredibly well. Like, I don't have any problems with it on a technical level. I mean, it's a technical darling in a lot of ways, and all the characters that were picked out were the right characters to pick out to utilize for the maximum amount of comedy and character quirk. So yeah, good 8.5 as far as I'm concerned. And you could probably watch it if you're not even a big Trek fan and understand, have some understanding of what's going on. It tells its story that plainly, and we see enough of the original episode that nothing's ever clouded out. So just kind of kudos to everyone all around working on this one.
Go Dell.
Y'all know that I'm pretty stingy with my scores. And I really thought about this for quite some time as I was watching it, and I give it a 10.
Nice.
Let's go.
I kept wanting to be like maybe a 9.5, maybe like a 9. But no, I laugh. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy. It gives me sort of the camp and the levity that I like in Trek. It's why I'm not a Star Wars fan, is because it can't do this. And so this is what makes me love Star Trek. And so for me, it's a 10.
Spitting. Absolutely spitting.
Nice. Go Ren.
I think I'm going to give it a 9 because it is really, really good. I mean, I think you guys have covered most of it. It just has so much going for it. The way that it integrates with the classic episode is nearly flawless, and the way they kind of reinvent the story is really effective. Like, it's a pretty simple little premise, but there are so many just little things that they do so well in this episode. I think it does feel a little fillery here and there, so like that's part of why I can't like fully justify giving it a 10 in my mind, but it's damn close. It's really good. It's just a great episode of Star Trek.
Amazing. We have so many people with great taste in the stream today. All of you have just such great taste in episodes. Go ahead, Scott. Sorry, I forgot that you didn't go yet.
No one cares about his opinion anyway.
It's about a 3.2.
Oh, we actually can't hear us.
You're muted.
I am?
Yeah,
Now you're
Now you're good.
Okay. That was weird. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 9. A lot of people will say, well, like, how does this episode stand on its own without the quote unquote gimmick? It doesn't have to. That's the way it was structured. Like, they basically said, we're gonna take this old episode and we're gonna seamlessly stitch new characters into it in a story that runs parallel to the original story, and you're gonna love it. I mean, I don't know if they said that, but we did. And it works. I mean, the effects work, the story works, the little ways they coming up just to the plot of the original, without going over, like when you've got Dax and Cisco up in the cargo bin and Tribbles are falling on Kirk and they start dropping some on him. Wait, did we ever answer the question or somebody asked why Kirk just stands there and lets them rain? Look, not important. But yeah, all of that, that's why it gets a 9. And I was also thinking, I've actually been thinking this for a while, because those old scientists happen to come up. I didn't know we were ranking stuff in even smaller increments than halves, because I would have put that much higher. Like, my one little nitpick wasn't enough for half a point. I think I would actually have made it like a 9.99, put it just above when we reviewed Spaceballs.
The game's made up and the points don't matter, Scott. You can give it any number you want. All right. So next week, Ren, what are we doing?
Counterpoint, baby!
Voyager
Classic
Counterpoint.
Voyager episode.
Can you remind me what that one's about?
That is the one where Janeway encounters the space Nazis who are after the telepaths.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All
super
right.
fun episode.
But hey, Dustin, thank you for letting me share this episode with you guys.
Of course.
Very gracious of you to let us pick out an episode to talk about it. So I appreciate everybody being here and sharing your thoughts.
We appreciate you for coming up with it. Also, Dell, what are we going to do on the 22nd? What are we doing the week of Christmas?
Hey, Norman, I listened because we're going to do Carbon Creek.
Let's go.
Yay!
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I love
Enterprise is
Enterprise,
best.
and I think Enterprise gets overlooked a lot. And I love, as I told Dustin, I actually did try to convince somebody who is not a Star Trek fan that the Vulcans invented Velcro. So,
Hell yeah.
But I love it has some of this timey-wimey stuff that I really like. the idea of putting that non-interference front and center, but at the same time kind of melding into the society, and sort of how those takes are very different. And yes, and wearing the dress backwards is hilarious.
All right. Well, that'll be fun. That's our next couple of things. And then for Christmas, we're going to take a break until the start of Academy, which debuts January 15th. So we'll be here. I haven't looked at it. Was that like the 19th or something? That we'll talk about that first episode. So till we see you next week with some Voy, I'd like to thank Gannon and everybody who joined us today, and for all of you that tuned in. Till we see you again, live long